I stood in the lobby of my boutique hotel, the Heathbrook, reading the email that would change everything. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped my phone. Dear Ms. Alexandra Bennett, on behalf of the British royal family, I am inquiring about booking your entire property for a month-long stay. I had to sit down. Meanwhile, across town, my brother James was probably putting the final touches on his presentation for our family reunion. The one my parents had insisted on hosting at his proper luxury hotel instead of my quaint little bed and breakfast. I'm Alex Bennett, and this is how my family's snobbishness about my hotel backfired spectacularly. 2 weeks earlier, I'd sat at my parents' dining table, listening to them gush about James's latest expansion of the Grand Bennett Hotel. 30 stories of pure luxury, my mother bragged, waving her wine glass. James really understands what sophisticated travelers want. I bit my tongue. The Grand Bennett was exactly what you'd expect from my brother. Flashy, overpriced, and about as personal as a credit card statement. Everything was chrome and glass, with rooms that looked identical to any other high-end chain hotel. The family reunion has to be there, my father declared. 300 relatives coming from all over the world. We need to show them how successful the Bennett Hotel legacy has become. I cleared my throat. The Heathbrook could host it. We have enough rooms, and our chef. Oh, sweetie, my mother cut in with that patronizing smile I knew too well. Your little place is charming. But this is a major family event. We need something more substantial. The Heathbrook is substantial, I protested. We have 25 unique suites, a Michelin-starred restaurant, and 25 rooms? James laughed, walking in late as usual. That's not a hotel, that's a large house. The Grand Bennett has 300 rooms. That's what a real hotel looks like. I gripped my water glass tighter. What they didn't know, what none of them had bothered to find out, was that my little place had just been named one of the top 10 boutique hotels in England by Travel and Leisure. The Heathbrook wasn't just a hotel. It was my vision of what hospitality should be. I'd bought the historic manor house 3 years ago, when everyone said I was crazy to leave the family business. James had even bet our father that I'd fail within 6 months. Instead, I transformed the 200-year-old estate into something unique. Each suite was individually designed, blending historic charm with modern luxury. Our restaurant didn't just serve food, it created experiences. Our gardens weren't just decorative. They supplied our kitchen with fresh ingredients. But to my family, success only counted if it came with a corporate logo and a massive scale. We've already decided, my father said firmly. The reunion will be at the Grand Bennett. James has arranged everything. I stood up, tired of the conversation. Fine, let me know what days to block off. Actually, James smirked. Maybe you should keep your rooms available. You know, for the relatives who can't afford our rates. I walked out without responding. They'd never understood why I'd struck out on my own instead of joining the family business. To them, hospitality was about numbers, room counts, occupancy rates, profit margins. To me, it was about creating something special. Back at the Heathbrook, I threw myself into work. We were preparing for our busiest season, and I had a new chef to train, gardens to oversee, and 1,000 details that needed my attention. That's when the first hint of something interesting arrived. Ms. Bennett. My front desk manager, Sophie, called me over one morning. There's a gentleman here asking very specific questions about our security capabilities and private entrance options. He says he's doing a preliminary site survey. I looked up to see a perfectly groomed man in an impeccable suit studying our lobby with intense focus. Good morning. I approached him. I'm Alexandra Bennett, the owner. How can I help you? He turned, assessing me with practiced efficiency. Richard Morton, Royal Protection Group. We're evaluating potential properties for an upcoming extended stay. Your hotel has been recommended. My heart skipped a beat. The Royal Protection Group handled security for the British royal family. Of course, I said calmly, though my pulse was racing. Would you like a tour? The next 2 hours were surreal. Mr. Morton examined everything: security systems, kitchen facilities, staff quarters, emergency protocols. He seemed particularly impressed by our private gardens and the separate entrance that had once been the manor's carriage house. Very promising, he murmured, making notes. The size is actually perfect, large enough to accommodate the entire party, small enough to secure effectively, and the privacy. He glanced around the walled gardens. Excellent. He left with a stack of documentation about our facilities. I tried not to get my hopes up, but 2 days later, another team arrived. This time they inspected every room, tested all our communication systems, and interviewed my key staff members. Then came the email. I read it 3 times to be sure. The royal family wanted to book the entire hotel, all 25 suites, the restaurant, the gardens, everything for a full month. My phone buzzed. It was James. Hey sis, about the family reunion. We're thinking of putting all the second cousins in our budget wing. You know, the ones from Ohio who probably won't appreciate the premium suites anyway. I looked at the royal booking request again and smiled. Actually, James, I won't be able to help with the overflow. We're fully booked that month. What? All 25 whole rooms. He laughed. What, did you get a bus tour or something? Something like that, I said. Good luck with the reunion. I hung up and looked around my lobby, my beautiful, historic, perfectly sized lobby. In a few weeks, it would welcome actual royalty. But for now, I had work to do. My phone kept buzzing with messages from James, each one more condescending than the last. A full booking. Sure you didn't add wrong. Must be nice having so few rooms to manage. Dad says you're just trying to avoid helping with the reunion. I ignored them all. Let them think what they wanted. Sometimes the best revenge is simply waiting for the perfect moment to reveal the truth. And that moment was coming sooner than they knew. The news broke on a Tuesday morning. British royal family chooses historic Heathbrook Hotel for extended summer stay. The headlines read. My phone exploded with notifications. Journalists requesting comments, industry colleagues offering congratulations, and of course, my family's messages. The first call came from James, his voice tight with disbelief. Is this some kind of joke? No joke, I replied calmly, watching my staff prepare for our final security inspection. The royal family will be occupying the Heathbrook for the entire month of July. But that's when the family reunion is scheduled. Oh dear, I said, not even trying to hide my satisfaction. How unfortunate. My parents arrived at the Heathbrook 20 minutes later, still dressed for their regular Tuesday tennis match. They stood in my lobby, looking around as if seeing it for the first time. Alexandra, my father said, using my full name like he always did when trying to exert authority. Why didn't you tell us about this? Like you told me about choosing James's hotel for the reunion, I countered. Besides, I was under a strict confidentiality agreement. My mother ran her finger along the pristine mahogany table, finding not a speck of dust. But surely they looked at the Grand Bennett too. James's hotel is so much more modern. Actually, I smiled. They specifically wanted the Heathbrook. Something about appreciating historic properties with character and discretion. James burst through the door, waving his phone. This is ridiculous. I've already arranged everything for the reunion. 300 rooms blocked off, special menus planned. And now you have 300 empty rooms, I finished. Maybe you can fill them with some bus tours. He flushed red at hearing his own words thrown back at him. You did this on purpose. Did what? Run my little place so well that it attracted the most prestigious clients in the country. Yes, I did do that on purpose. But what about the family reunion? My mother pressed. We can't cancel it now. I sat down at my antique reception desk, enjoying this moment perhaps more than I should have. Well, you have 2 options. You can either reschedule, or, I paused for effect, you can hold it at the Grand Bennett, knowing that while all our relatives are there, I'll be here, hosting the royal family. The silence that followed was delicious. Richard Morton chose that moment to arrive with his final security team. He nodded at me professionally. Miss Bennett, we're ready for the last walkthrough. Oh, and Her Royal Highness wanted me to personally commend you on your discretion regarding the booking. She was most impressed that nothing leaked to the press until the official announcement. My family stood there, open-mouthed, as I walked away with the royal security team. Through the lobby's security cameras, I watched their expressions change from shock to dawning realization. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of preparation, while James struggled to explain to our relatives why they needed to reschedule the reunion. I oversaw every detail of the royal visit preparations. My staff, always professional, rose to new heights of excellence. Then came the day of arrival. I stood with my team as the royal motorcade pulled up to our private entrance. The next hours were a blur of perfect service and flawless execution. Every detail we prepared, every special touch we planned, went off without a hitch. That evening, I received a personal note of thanks from Her Royal Highness, praising the hotel's charm, service, and attention to detail. I took a photo of the note and sent it to our family group chat, which had been suspiciously quiet lately. The responses came quickly. Mom, darling, we may have underestimated your vision. Dad, very impressive, Alexandra. James, whatever. It's just one booking. But it wasn't just one booking. The royal stay put the Heathbrook on the global luxury map. Suddenly, my 25 rooms were the most sought-after accommodations in England. Our waiting list stretched months into the future. James's hotel, meanwhile, struggled with the aftermath of the cancelled reunion. Several relatives had refused to rebook, asking instead to be put on the Heathbrook's waiting list. 1 month later, I sat in my office, reviewing the latest press coverage. Forbes had just named the Heathbrook the top boutique hotel in Europe. Travel and Leisure was running a feature on our farm-to-table restaurant, and Condé Nast Traveler had dubbed us the crown jewel of British hospitality. My phone buzzed. James again. Listen, he started, his voice unusually humble. I've been thinking. The Grand Bennett's occupancy rates are down, and our reviews. Well, maybe we could discuss some sort of collaboration. Your expertise with our resources. I looked out my window at the perfectly maintained gardens where the royal family had taken their afternoon tea just weeks ago. Sorry, James, I replied. The Heathbrook isn't interested in collaborations right now. We're quite busy with our waiting list. But I hear there are some lovely bus tours looking for accommodations. After hanging up, I walked through my hotel, my successful, prestigious 25-room hotel. Every suite was full, every guest was happy, and every staff member knew they were part of something special. My parents had finally stopped suggesting I join the family business. James had stopped making jokes about my little place. And our relatives? They'd rescheduled the reunion at the Heathbrook. Unfortunately, we were fully booked through the next 2 years. Sometimes success isn't about size or flash. Sometimes it's about creating something genuine and unique, something that even royalty can appreciate. And sometimes, the best revenge is simply letting your excellence speak for itself. That evening, as I checked in a famous film director who'd waited 3 months for a reservation, I received one final text from James. Okay, I admit it. You won. I smiled, thinking of the royal family's confirmed booking for next summer, the waiting list of celebrities and dignitaries, and the growing empire I built with just 25 perfect rooms. No, James, I typed back. I didn't win, I just built something better. Because sometimes the smallest places can make the biggest statements, and sometimes a little bed and breakfast can outshine the grandest luxury hotel, especially when it has a royal seal of